The Knicks defense has been really bad lately, and it's not just dropped as an issue, it's just execution all across the board. So let's break it down. First, I want to talk about the Mikal OG guard screening. And every time they're put in action, they just have to switch. Like, you can't get caught on the top of the screen, and then Tobias Harris gets a free look at the basket. This is good help by Cat, but that just can't happen when you have two supposedly elite wing defenders. You just have to switch on those. Here's another example. This is just a simple handoff. OG's supposed to get around, I think, but then Brunson switches. OG's caught on the top of Malik Beasley, which allows for Beasley to get a wide open mid-range shot. But these situations just have to have a rule defined. Like, if you're not going to switch or if you're going to switch, it just has to be a little bit more seamless, or else stuff like this happens. Like, if the rule is to get over, and last play it looked like you were supposed to get over, then stuff like this, to not have Tobias switch onto Brunson, you have to be more cognizant of not letting that switch happen so easily. Otherwise, if you're willing to switch this easily, then you should switch this easily on everything. There just has to be some consistency. And then the second part of this is an execution failure. The question you have to ask here is, where is the help going to come from? If the help is coming from OG, then Shamet should not be guarding Isaiah Stewart so that he can rotate out and cover a three-point shooter. If the help is coming from Isaiah Stewart, then Shamet's in the right position and OG is just way too far in help. Here you're going to see OG double, and then Shamet again is not in position to come help out, and then this leads to an open three. But this is just execution failure. Like, you have to know where your help's coming from and what that rule is. Same thing here. What's your rule for switching on this Brunson OG screen? And this is Tim Hardaway Jr. and Tobias Harris. If this is Cade, fine, you can have a different set of rules, but it's not Cade. So you should know what you're supposed to do. There should be very little confusion. Except throughout this entire game, you just saw confusion all over the place. And it's weird because there are other games where everything is seamless. Everyone's rotating correctly. Everyone's communicating. Everyone's switching when they're supposed to be switching. And then sometimes that's just not the case and everything looks a step slower. So here you're going to see a really bad OG possession. So it starts with this guard screen. Here's OG and Hart. This should be an auto switch. Hart looks like he knows it's an auto switch. But OG still tries to get around the screen. The problem is when you try to go around, Tobias can just roll into the basket. And then again, OG would be caught on the top side. It was Mikal on the first play, but this could be OG getting caught on the top side. And look, Tobias has a lot of space if he just rolls towards the basket. Luckily, he doesn't, so this is fine, but look at this positioning, right? OG acts like he wants to get over, but why are you acting like you're going to get over if this is supposed to be a switch? If it's not supposed to be a switch, I would ask why it isn't a switch. But again, it's just simple miscommunication. And then here's another miscommunication. So then here's a screen. OG is going to act like this is supposed to be a switch. Cat obviously thinks this isn't a switch. And then look at him drop back. This leads to a wide open three. And again, just miscommunication and execution mistakes. Here, this is the play that they ran like 4 straight times down the stretch. Again, if you're going to hedge this, you can't let Cade get on the outside of this hedge, right? So Cade gets past Brunson when this is supposed to be a hedge where you're already at a disadvantage. Now you're just at a crazy disadvantage. We leave Asar open, which is right, but again, you need to be showing Cade different looks. We ran the same exact look every single time, and then he just tore it apart. So I want to go back to this possession on the end of the second quarter. So this is the pre-switch that people are expecting to see on that last possession. And it looks like it's actually Mikal that initiates the switch. So watch this. Look at Mikal. Mikal's going to move up and initiate the switch. And then it gets Brunson off of the pick. Now, they're going to go isolate Brunson with Tobias Harris. And this is another execution failure because look at McBride. He's going to come really deep into help. But you already have help. Cat's already there. You don't have to send a second person to triple team Tobias Harris. So now we have 3 players here. And then this leaves an open Sasser for 3. So another execution failure. Again, I know that drop is an issue, but a lot of these things plus transition needs to be cleaned up. And when they're cleaned up, overall the defense looks better. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it looks better. And then I want to just talk about the last play. The first thing I want you to notice here is Mikal's really up on Cade, right? Cade just takes a dribble and separates from Mikal. And here is where I think Mikal has a little bit of fault. Tim Hardaway Jr. is allowed to set the screen right at the 3-point line because Mikal sags off. If Mikal presses up right here in this moment, this screen can't be set, and then you don't have to hedge as hard because Mikal gets over the screen seamlessly. Instead, because Mikal sagged off and doesn't press up, this screen's allowed to be set near the 3-point line, and then Mikal gets stuck on it, which is what causes the double and the open three. If Mikal stayed attached, Tim Hardaway Jr. also has to set the screen higher, which means that Mikal could actually go under the screen and then recover onto K. K is not necessarily a threat from the logo, so you can go under the screen and then no advantages are created. It's just this little sag off that also creates this bad scheme that K's off 4 times, which again leads to this open three. So yes, there are definitely some issues with the defense from a talent standpoint overall and from a schematic standpoint, but the first thing to clean up is a lot of these easy execution mistakes that just really shouldn't be happening.